Hi there, I'm Christine Weber. I love to support mature yoga teachers and getting their wisdom out there into the world. So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me this week. We just moved yesterday, and so I'm in my new little home yoga studio, which I'm really excited about. I haven't been able to figure out how to get the light right yet. That's that's what where the light is coming from. And as much as it's a gorgeous view, it's really hard to get my light right for live streaming. So I'm working on it. I got my video guy coming over on Dave. He's great, Dave Corgliano. If anybody wants to use Dave, go for it. Somebody told me the other day that because I wrote a blog about my hairstylist, whose name's Gregory Sargent, and he's at Willow's Dream in Nashville. And I was just writing about how I was kind of like, I know my hair doesn't look great today, but anyway, I was writing about how Gregory is a very good hairstylist, and he was trained in London. He trained at Vidal Sassoon, and how there's sort of like this interesting parallel between sort of professions like that. It's very interesting between that and yoga, So he did a lot of training, and he was explaining his training to me. And I was like, oh, that sounds like yoga. You can do a lot of training, or you can go to a weekend and call yourself a yoga teacher. So anyway, I wrote a blog about him. And now Gregory's like, I get a lot of clients because you wrote a blog about me, which I think is great and wonderful. Although I'm like, but you better save a spot for me. Anyway, I feel similarly about Dave. He has been helping me with video for a while now, and so I'm sure we're going to get all this lighting. So I know you can hardly see my face. If I get up close, maybe you can see my face. You can hardly see my face in this video. Okay, all that being said, yes, I'm a little vata deranged from walking up. I feel like I hiked 13 miles yesterday walking up and down the steps. But today, yesterday the story came. I think it was yesterday that the scandal about Andrew Huberman broke, and I thought, okay, I'm going to say a few things about it today. And I think first of all, I'll say. Um, I'm really sorry that that happened, and I'm really sorry for the people involved. So the story is apparently, allegedly, what happened is Dr. Huberman was dating 5 women at the same time and juggling and not telling them that and juggling them all around. And one he was trying to get pregnant with and all this stuff. Anyway, you can read the whole article. It's quite salacious. The internet loves the salaciousness. And the issue, of course, is that Andrew Huberman has 9 million followers on YouTube, and he's huge. He's hugely successful. He's one. I often jokingly refer to him as one of the bro guy, one of the bro pro podcasters. I've been listening to him for several years since he started podcasting a couple of years ago. I've learned a lot from Dr. Huberman, or maybe I'll just call him Andrew. Um, and when the scandal broke, I felt a little angry, I have to say, as a woman, and as this guy who kind of parades around as a woke male, and he certainly comes across like that in his YouTube videos, and you just feel like, ugh, how many times is this gonna like again? Like another one bites the dust. It's like, yeah, okay, so I'm not surprised. Surprised, not surprised. Surprised, disappointed. Like I just want to. I feel like I want to be his mother and be like, what are you thinking, Andrew? Like, come on. So there's that part of me, and then there's this other part of me that's like, why can't we get this stuff right in terms of the cancel culture? There needs to be reparations, like not reparations, but what's the word? Restorative justice kind of made when these things happen. And I think the worst thing to do, frankly, is to just jump on the hate bandwagon and the cancel culture bandwagon. I think that stuff is almost as toxic as the behavior itself, exposing everything. Like, wouldn't have been great if those 5 women, who, by the way, I mean, I'm giggling because the 5 women found out about each other by reading his texts while he was in the bathroom. That's how they discovered each other. And they became this like friend group of like the friends of Andrew Huberman's Love Life Lost or something. That's how they found out about each other, and then they went public with the story. Understandably, it's understandable that they went public. But I think the worst thing that we do on the internet is we build people up and put them on these pedestals so that we can knock them off the pedestals. And that behavior is just as toxic as what he did, you know? So let those people make let them figure this out and make and do their restoration the way that they need to, let that happen personally. And then for us, I think there's a few things. I think forgiveness is very important. I think he needs to show up in a way that is forgiving. But also for just us who are people who were, I kind of think of myself as a student in many ways because I listened to so many of his podcasts and looked at the research, and he's helped me with lots of things I'm super into neuroscience. I mean, and how it affects yoga. My job is to just stay self-regulated and not feel so personally disappointed. It's not personal. The guy's a celebrity, it's not personal. But I can feel I can have a sense of equanimity, and feel like, okay, this thing happened. It's not personal to me. Move on. Separate the personality from the information. That's huge. And then remember that it's happened. I mean, I've watched all the gurus fall. I saw Swami. I saw Amrit Desai. I remember that happening. I remember, of course, Anusara stuff and what happened with Rod Stryker and what Rodney Yee. I mean, like in my world, in my little tiny corner of the internet yoga world, I've seen it happen again and again and again and again. Like it's not surprising. I don't want to feel jaded. There are very good people in the world. There are very good men in the world who are ethical, who are it's not and are not pathological. That when you read the article about what Andrew Huberman did, um, it feels sad to me and incredibly pathological. And when I remember that people act out of their pain and their woundedness, I can have a sense of empathy. That doesn't excuse what happened, doesn't mean he doesn't have to take responsibility for it, of course. It doesn't mean that he hasn't deeply disappointed people. But we also need to stop creating cult figures out of these guys. Like, we got just stop, People are wearing their Huberman t-shirts, like, stop, stop making the cult figures out of them. Realize that people are human. They make mistakes. There's issues. Um, they're going to have issues. They're going to, it's going to get out there. And how can we forgive people? And also, how can we forgive people? And how can we also not expect so much? you know, not invest so much in them. I think those are important questions. So I'm grappling with this. I'm not saying like I have all the answers. It's going to be interesting to read some of the follow-up critique and see what he comes out and says. I'm sure he will either disappear or make some public statements. So lots of love to all of you if this is triggered for you, and some kindness to everybody involved. Thank you for listening. I will talk about yoga next week. Okay, lots of love. Take care.